Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday afternoon practice. We have a morning practice and we have an afternoon practice. The morning practice is at 8 o'clock Pacific time, and the afternoon practice is at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Pacific time. The difference is that in the afternoon we practice exclusively from a sitting position. So we're going to start with some exercise, okay, some warm-up exercise. But it's a warm-up exercise not just for the body, but it's also warm-up exercise for the mind. So I want you to follow me, calibrate your posture, straighten up your back, open your shoulder, relax, lean back with your forehead so that the ears is on top of your shoulder, and tuck in your chin a little bit. And then raise your elbow so that it's at shoulder level. And we're going to start with the wrist. So I want you to just rotate your wrist. Focus entirely on your wrist. Try to observe the change in your body. Any pain, any sweat, any heat, any numbness. Okay, now the other way. And like I said, this is a warm-up exercise not only for the body, but it is also for the mind. We're trying to bring the mind and the body together. Now put down your hands. Again, calibrate your body. Straighten up your back. Open your shoulder. Relax. Make sure your ears is on top of your shoulder, so you're not doing this, okay? And then, but you are tucking in your chin a little bit. And now raise your hand once again to your shoulder level, and we're going to do the joint exercise on the elbow, and try to focus your mind on the elbow, try to observe the changes in your body, and the other way, okay? So we talk a lot about the tradition that a lot of what we do comes from Bodhidharma, who is a 14th century yogi from North India who had visited China and brought to China the meditation technique that he inherited from the historical Buddhas, who was also a yogi. So yogi, or yoga in this case, means union. It's a union of the body and the mind. Okay. Now we're going to move from the wrist to the elbow. We move from the wrist to the elbow, and now we're going to do the shoulder. Again, slow, okay, very slow. Lift up your arm, open your shoulder, come down slow. Follow your hand, go up, stretch, hold, come down as if you're touching the walls. Come down, go up one more time. Stay focused, follow your hand. One more time, stay focused, follow your hand as your hand goes up, stretch, hold. Stay focused on the hand. Now we open the other way. Open, stretch, straighten up your back, and then come down. Open, stretch, and come down. One more time. Go up, stretch, and come down. It's very important that as soon as we stop, we relax. Okay? As soon as you stop, you focus on your breath. When you move, you focus on your body, any part of the body, okay? When you're walking, focus it on your bottom of your feet. When you move, focus on the center of your palm, okay? Now we're going to put our arms in front. We're going to continue with the shoulder up, stretch, and back. Up, stretch, and back. Up, stretch, and back. Open that shoulder. Feel the change in your body. We call these the four elements. Up, back, and down. Now we're going to go to the back. All the way up from the back. Stretch, hold. The four elements are the earth, the water, the fire, and the wind. Okay? Up, stretch, and down. One more time. Back all the way. Up, stretch, and down. Warming up both your body and your mind, okay? Making sure that your mind and the body is getting closer and closer and closer. Now we're going to continue with some Shaolin martial art. we borrow from the Shaolin martial art. And stretch out your right arm, hold your left arm in front. Your left arm is controlled by the right brain, and your left brain controls the right arm, okay? Now, keep the left arm stationary. We're going to try to separate the two halves of the brain. Move the front, move the right all the way back as if you're touching the back. Open that shoulder. And now to the left, same thing. Left, open, back without moving the right. One at a time, okay? One at a time. This is a very good way to quiet your mind. Quiet your mind. And to the left one more time. And to the right. And to the left, okay? Relax. Take a deep breath. Relax your entire body. We're going to continue with the second Shaolin move. This one we call throwing the fist, okay? It comes from the practice where they want to extend the reach when you punch, all right? So focus on the upper left. Hold a baseball. We're going to throw the baseball, okay? As you throw the baseball, open your fingers, straighten out your elbow, extend your shoulder, and you reach the end. Hold it. Feel the vibration coming back into your shoulder, okay? Get ready. Up. Up. Follow your hand. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. Okay? So here we talk a lot about qi. Qi is the life energy. But in reality, it's the combination of circulations and life energy. Okay, circulation is just circulation of the blood, and it's important to do joint exercise because the only way that you could increase the qi around the joints is with some exercise because there's no blood vessel there. Okay, all right. Now we're gonna go to the neck. So sit up straight, feel your spine and your neck, and then put your hands behind your head. Look down 45 degrees, straighten up your back. This is the important part. And then now press down your neck and you're going to fight it. And then hold it right here. Be sure your back is straight. And now rotate to the left. Hold it. Come back in the middle. Rotate to the right. Come back in the middle. One more time. Rotate to the left, come back in the middle, rotate to the right, come back in the middle, and then relax very slow, okay? We don't do enough of this. We spend so much time looking down now, okay? We just don't do enough exercise on the neck. So we're going to sit up straight. We're going to do one more, which is just rotating the neck clockwise. Feel the change in your neck. Again, be one with your body and then counterclockwise. Okay, so this is the first part, just a warm up of the joints. And then now we get ready to work on these energy lines. And we do that with fingers. Okay, we start with fingers. Sit up straight, open your shoulder, look ahead, focus on your four fingers. Think of them as springs. Hold it with your thumb. Wind up your four fingers and then let go, okay? Now be sure your elbow is locked so you can feel the vibration coming back to your shoulder, all right? Focus, get ready, wind it up, and 1, hold it, 2, feel the vibration, 3, feel the vibration, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so a lot of you have, as I did, a problem with what's called the frozen shoulder or carpal tunnel. So all of that, as far as the Chinese medicine is concerned, comes from the fact that your qi is blocked. So what does it mean when you say the qi is blocked? Think of your muscle or your tendon or any of the internal organ and so forth. They all have a casing. It's like the sausage. They all have a casing. The casing is called a connective tissue. A lot of people call it the myofascia, except that when you say myofascia, you limit yourself to only the muscle. Here we're talking about very general. And when you're young, or when you take care of your body properly, they're lubricated. Okay, they're lubricated. But then if you have a lot of repeat practice, repeat movement, like using your mouth all the time, or any other reason, then they lose their lubrication. They get stuck, and then they will inflame. So a couple of problems is that it will cause pain, and then the other problem is that it's also supposed to be a layer that conducts electricity. And when you have electricity, then you have magnetism, and that's what we call qi. That's what we call life energy. So what we want to do is we want to break that layer, right? Break that adhesion. And we do that with just the fingertips. That's where you start, because if the qi doesn't circulate through the fingertips, it won't circulate anywhere else. It's the equivalent of saying that the weakest link, right? It's the weakest link right now is at the extremity. So we continue. Open up your shoulder. There's 2 energy points right here. We call this the gate to the cloud. We put the middle fingers and the thumb together, connecting 2 of the 6 energy lines. The one that we name after the lung and the one that we name after the pericardium. We put that here, okay? And then we swing out the arms, open the fingers, extend out the elbow, turn the hand so that the back of the hand is facing the camera. And when we get to the end, we wait. We wait, we feel the vibration coming back up to the shoulder. Okay, get ready. This is called the Lotus Hand, okay? Get ready. 1, feel the vibration. 2, feel the vibration. 3, 4, 5, focus. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this one is really good for many things, but particularly for frozen shoulder. The one we did is very good for carpal tunnel. Okay, so if you have problem with some pain here, do that 50 times in the morning, 50 times at night. Okay, for about a week. That should fix it. Now we're going to continue to work on our energy lines. I mentioned that there's 6 originating from the fingers and 6 originate from the toe. They all come together. These are like the tripillaries. They all come together to these 2 main channels, the one in the front and the one in the back. So we're going to work on those. The one in the front, we do it by deep breathing. The one in the back coincides with the spiral core, so we can just do some stretching on that one. So open up your shoulders, sit up straight. Again, the ear on top of your shoulder, so you're not doing this, okay? Now we lock our fingers, and we put that right below our belly buttons, okay? Right below our belly buttons. And we focus on the nose. We take a deep breath, very slow, very steady, okay? Open your shoulders, sit up straight, take a deep breath, breathe in. Now breathe out. As we come down, we maintain the pressure on the wrist and we climb the mountain, right? As if there's 2 mountains on the side and we want to climb up. Relax, start from 0, breathe in, breathe out, and then climb, and then relax. Always relax. Breathe in 1 more time. Go up. Climb. Okay. Now we walk on the back. Go up. And stretch. Stretch. Feel the pressure on your fingers, your wrist, and your elbow. Now we're going to focus on the spine And we're going to elongate the spine, stretch the spine by an inch, okay? Now we're going to lean back, the whole body leaning back. Come back in the middle, calibrate, stretch. The whole body lean towards the left. Come back in the middle, stretch. Whole body to the right. Come back in the middle, stretch. One more time to the left. Come back to the middle, stretch. Come back to the right, maintain tension. Come back in the middle and then unlock your fingers. Keep the right hand on top, touching your left shoulder. Use your left hand, grab the right shoulder, sit up straight, and we stretch to the left, the entire body. And we come back in the middle, exchange hands. Grabbing the left elbow with the right hand, we stretch to the right. Come back in the middle, relax. Now we're going to put the hands in the back, okay? With the 10 fingers touching, the tips are touching, and the center of the palm touching, but in the back, at the bottom of the spine, fingers pointing down. We're going to rotate the hands so that the fingers are pointing up. We're going to very slow move the fingers along up the spine, keeping the fingers in contact all the way up the spine, as far up as you can. Sit up straight, head's pointing up the sky, and we're going to open that shoulder, feeling the stress on the finger, the wrist, and the shoulder, both in front of the shoulder and in the back of the shoulder. And then we're going to hold it. And then we're going to relax. We're going to continue to do some stretching. This time we stretch the elbow. The elbow turned out to be a very important part because 3 of the energy lines, there's 6. 3 has to do with yin, 3 has to do with yang. And when we say yang, that means the solar or the masculine. They tend to be in the outside the body. And the yin doesn't necessarily mean lunar. It just means the opposite of solar, okay? And turns out that all the yin lines comes to the elbow. Elbow is the important part. So sit up straight, the palm of your left hand facing the sky, the right hand between the fingers and the palm. Okay, now everybody focus, okay? Don't type, all right? Don't type. I want you to use both hands. The only people who can type is if you have 3 hands. Now, bend the fingers and the wrists down. Now focus on the elbow. Push out the elbow. Push all the way out. And then eyes looking forward. Now I want you to push that arm up with your elbow. Using your elbow, push the whole arm up, all the way up to the eyebrow. Maintain pressure on your fingers and your wrist. And then push out the elbow one more time. Hold it. And relax. The other side. Facing the sky one more time. Between your fingers and your palm. Sit up straight. Okay. Apply pressure on your fingers and your wrist. Eyes ahead. Push out your elbow. And then push the whole arm up with your elbow. All the way up until you reach eyebrow. Stay there. Hold it. Check everything. And relax. So we did joint exercise. We did stretching and relieving stresses on these energy lines. And now there are 2 more parts. One has, and they're similar in that they're to energize these energy lines. The first, we do that by doing some mechanical excitation. And then after we do that, we do some massaging, okay? All right, open your shoulder. Sit up straight, head turn towards the right. Right hand making what is called the empty hand, as if you're drinking water. Put that on top, put the fingers on top of your left shoulder so that the center of your palm is pressing against that energy point that we talked about, right? All right, straighten up your spine. Now listen with your left ear. And when I say wake up, you hit it 1 time, synchronize it with your ear, and then you commit yourself to 20 seconds. And in that 20 seconds, I want you to focus on every time. I want you to feel the impact. I want you to hear the sound. I want you to maintain the empty hand, okay? Relax. You don't need to hit it that hard, just very gently, okay? Turn your head to the right. Listen with your left ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, so this uses acoustic coupling to energize two energy lines. The one on top of your shoulder is the energy line that's named after the gallbladder, which is the yang line protecting its counterpart, which is the liver. Then we work on these energy points here that has to do with the energy lines that is named after the lung, which is the yin line. Okay, its yang counterpart is actually the small intestines. So we're doing a lot. Okay, all right. We're going to go back to the right side. Turn your head to the left. Left hand, empty hand, fingers on top. Listen with your right ear. All right. I want you to commit now. Commit to 20 seconds. Okay. Get ready. Wake up. Commit. Okay, now I talk about the three energy line, the lung, the pericardium, which is the mechanical function of the heart, all the vessels and the muscles outside the heart. Then there's an energy line called the heart, which really has to do with the thymus gland that sits on top of the heart, called the fountain of youth. So we're going to work on that. This one goes like this, and then it goes to the armpit before it goes inside. So I want you to lift up your left arm, put the elbow on top of your head, grab the right ear on top, tuck it a little bit, sit up straight, right hand, empty hand, listen with your left ear, get ready, wake up, and then continue. Okay, now the other side. Stretch out your right arm, straight it over your head, grab the left ear at the very top. There's some energy points there. Tuck it a little bit. Okay, left hand, empty hand. Turn your heads to the left. Listen with your right ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, now I talk about the 12 energy lines, 6 of them from the fingers, 6 of them from the toes, and then out of the 6, each set of the 6, 3 are yin and 3 are yang. They're named after 12 vital organs. That doesn't mean that there are only 12 vital organs. You notice a lot of times people ask, well, what about the pancreas? What about the sexual organ? Well, they're just not part of the 12. But they are governed by some of the important some of the other organs. For example, the sexual organs is governed by the kidney, right? That's according to the Chinese tradition. And what protects the kidney is the bladder. Okay, so now we're going to work on the bladder, the energy line that are named after the bladder. Okay, which is in the back. So we sit up straight, relax. Right hand, put it as far back as you can on the back, and using the center of your hand. Now take the other hand, the left hand, use the back of the hand, reach back to where you think the kidneys are. So these are the 2 energy points that are associated with the energy lines that we name after the bladder. Okay, sit up straight and think of yourself as a vertical windmill. Okay. Now, Josh and I, we do a video once a month, and if you're interested, go to dennykmew.com/AUA, and Josh would also give you the URL for his website. So a month ago, not a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, or maybe even more than that, we talk about these 12 energy lines, and there's different ways you can classify them. So I talk about how 6 of them comes from the fingers and 6 of them comes from the toe. That's one way. The other way is I talk about how three of the 6 are yin, so there's actually 6 yin and 6 yang. The yin lines all comes to the front, and the yang line all comes to the back. Okay, that's another way. There's yet another way, which is in the Chinese tradition, they separate the upper torso into 3 parts: what's above the diaphragm, what's between the diaphragm and the belly buttons, and what's below the belly buttons. And so what's below the belly buttons obviously are the kidney and the gallbladder. That's one pair. What's in between would be like the liver and the gallbladder and the stomach and the spleen, right? So now we're going to work on those. So those actually originated from the feet. All right. So let me push back as far as I can. And I know some of you can't see me well, and you reminded me that I need to tilt the camera. I appreciate your reminder. Okay. So we're going to work on the feet now, because now we want to work on those energy lines that comes from the feet. So what's outside is called yang. What's inside is called yin, right? What's outside is exposed to the sun. What's inside is hidden from the sun. So what's outside is an energy line that is associated with the gallbladder. What's inside, the upper part, is associated with the liver, and then the lower part is associated with the spleen. Okay? So we're going to work on those. So start with the upper part, the inside of your thigh. Divide that into 3 parts. Start with the middle. Now move towards your hip. Okay? Now move towards your knee, but not yet to the knee, okay? Now close your knee. We're going to work on the outside, which are energy lines that are associated with the gallbladder. So 2 points towards your hip. Now towards your knee. Okay, now work on your knee. Okay, now the lower part, we pick 3 points. Now again, it's not that important that you're exactly on that point. It's more important that you work along the line. But over time, it will become apparent where those points are because they feel different, okay? But in the beginning, it's okay. So move down a little bit, as long as you're not hitting the knee. Somewhere there is okay. Now, in the middle, now move towards the lower part. As long as you're not hitting the angle, it's okay, right? Now open your knee, work on the knee from the inside. Okay, now the following needs to be a little bit more precise. So I mentioned that this is the energy lines that are named after the gallbladder. This is the energy lines that are named after the liver. Starting here is the energy lines that are named after the splint, okay? So the splint and the stomach is one pair. So to pick up those points now, you see the knee has bones. Immediately below that where there's no bone, that's one energy point. And I'll explain that in a minute, okay? Okay, now towards the middle of the calf, this is not that important. You don't need to be precise on that one. Just in the middle of the calf is good enough. Okay, now one last point. It's painful because it's telling you that you need to work on them, okay? Okay, now this one needs to be a little bit more precise. So, but be careful, if it's painful, just back off. Don't just work towards healing, okay? Don't make it into an extreme sport. Okay, now locate your angle, about one fist up, and then not the bone, the south side of the bone. Okay, now we're going to do some massage work, massaging your feet, okay? I just want to remind you that what we're doing here is what I would prefer to be called traditional medicine, right? This is something that is at least 4,000 years old. What we call the Western medicine is actually the alternative medicine. That's only about 150 years old. It's a very different approach, okay? So here we're not really about fixing your ailment, but rather than more like maintaining health and allowing the body to heal, okay? So when you hit these energy points and they hurt, or at least there's some reaction, it's telling you that you need to work on them, okay? Now, the afternoon class, when we practice in the sitting position, a big reason for that is I'm actually in direct contact with a lot of students who are also caregivers like myself, taking care of elderly parents or loved ones or whatnot. And one of the problems that we have is that the one that we are providing care for are the people that typically are not that mobile, right? They typically are bound to a chair or wheelchair or a bed even, or just in general they don't have much exercise, much opportunity for exercise. So the next part is really important for those people, okay? So we're going to pick up, so we will work on energy points. First of all, there's three parts. The first part is called the earth. Then we work on the being, the interbeing, and then we work on the sky, okay? So, and we're going to expand this one beyond more than just one energy point. But the most important one is what's called the Gushing Spring. So to locate this point, okay, this is the length of the bottom of your feet, goes 1/3 of the way down, and you feel it. There's a pit there, right? So this is called the Gushing Spring. This is actually the beginning of an energy line that we name after the kidney. The kidney is what we call the second heart. This one is responsible for your circulations, and it's also the one that provides the essence that is the fuel for manufacturing marrow, right? The one that is ultimately responsible for both your red blood cell and your white blood cell. So you can imagine how important that is. Now its name is interesting. It's called Gushing Spring, which means that as long as you're stepping on the ground, energy will come up through this point, rushing into your body. So the opposite of that is when you're no longer stepping. And when do you no longer stepping? When you're sick. Okay, so we're going to massage that point, and then now we're going to make a pointer, right? And we're going to press down on it. It's going to hurt. So if it hurts too much, just back off. Back off. Okay. So I noticed that there are two problems when I care for my elderly parents. One is that they don't have enough blood circulation just from the lack of exercise, or from the diet, too much salt, or just from aging, they're losing protein. So protein has a way of absorbing water. And so there are two problems. One is that the circulations is really bad. The second problem is that they start to have a lot of swelling, okay? So this kidney, this point is important for the circulation. The other energy lines that's important for swelling is the splint, okay? Now the splint is related to the lymph node, which, as you know, is the system that returns water back to the heart, okay? So now we're going to find these other energy points. So put your fingers, locate that point, the Gushing Spring. Now from that Gushing Spring, just go across, okay? And then right here, this is the beginning of the splint, okay? So when you press on that, it's going to hurt a little bit. So if it hurts too much, don't press too hard. Just massage. And if you can bear it, press a little harder. If you need a little bit more force, use two thumbs, one on top of each other. Now put your fingers on this point, and then go down before you hit the heel. Okay, there's another valley. Now this one is interesting. This one, now we're picking up the kidney energy line again. Okay. Now, the Chinese word for that has to do with burning. So in other words, it complements the Gushing Spring. All the energy that starts with the Gushing Spring, now it has to boil and evaporate so that it transfers to the rest of the body. Okay, now the next one again is the kidney. Put your thumb on the angle and straight down, right here. Okay, again, massage that. Okay, now put your thumb back on the angle again. Put your thumb back on the angle again. Okay. Now, take the other hand, 4 fingers from the angle, and then on the south side of the bone. Okay, now massage that. Now this one is interesting. This one is called the triple yin meet. This one actually is similar to the elbow, where all 3 of the yin lines meets right here. So the one that has to do with the kidney, the splint, and the liver. Okay, all comes here. So this one is like hitting the jackpot. This one gotta hurt a little bit, because any one of those 3 would give you indication that you need work. Okay, now put your fingers here. locate that piece of bone, the chin, not now, and then just slide along, okay, until you hit the knee where you can't no longer move. It's a piece of bone there. Now this one is interesting. This one, if I translate it, it's the spring below the hill, right at the bottom of the hill. This one is the splint. So if you or any of your loved ones have problem with swelling, your feet swelling, or even have your mucus in your lung, this is a good energy point. Or if you are like very often, like my daughter, who's a young person, during the menstrual cycle, she has some problem with water retention. So this is a good point. So just work on this one, right? Okay, now I just introduced one more point. See your knee, and you find this. There's like two dimple, and we call this the eye. Okay, we call this a This one does hurt. This one will hurt. Okay, eye. Now take the one on the left. You notice that there's a piece of bone here, right? 4 fingers on the left side of that. This one is the yang line. It has to do with the stomach. Okay, the stomach is actually very important. It actually is the one that it's the one that protects the splint. Okay, remember the yin and the yang. Okay, all right. Now we will work on the right side as a review. Let's start with the Gushing Spring, beginning of the kidney energy line, and then make the knuckle press on it. They all hurts. As you get older, that's where you have, it's the lower part. It's all the yin lines on the lower part of the body that is giving you a problem. Typically your lung and your heart, they might be okay, all right? Especially if you're someone like us who exercise. Now put your thumb here and then go across, just go up, you see it? All right, someone complains that the camera has to be lower. I don't know, I can see it. Okay, now remember what we said? This is the beginning of the splint. Okay, now locate that point, go down. Okay, you can't go any further because of the heel, right? We're picking up the kidney line again. Okay, now locate the angle straight down. Another point for the kidney. Yeah, I understand. It has to do with which app which version of the app you use. I'll try to lift it up, but if I fall over, don't laugh, okay? I don't want you to be laughing at me. All right, so angle, 4 fingers, south side of the bone. That's the triple yin meet, huh? All 3 yin line meets here. This one hurts. I wouldn't be doing it. I mean, I wouldn't. Why would I give you a point? Why would I introduce you a point that won't hurt? Okay, now put your fingers here. Just touch along that piece of bone until you hit the knee. This is called the spring at the bottom of the heel, huh? The bottom of the mountain or the whatever. Yeah. So this one is a splint. Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, there is a way to remove the comment. Yeah. You shouldn't be worried about the comment. I don't want you to think about the comment. Just focus. All right. One last point that we pick up. Remember the eye of the knee. The one on the right, go down on the right side of the bone, 4 fingers. This one is the stomach, huh? The stomach and the splint work together. Okay? All right, so this is a kind of a superset of what we call the earth. Okay, the earth starts with the Gushing Spring, and then we've had a whole bunch. Now we're going to go to the interbeing, the center of the palm. This is the only energy points that gives out energy. This is the healing hand, okay? Right hand side. Right hand side. Okay, now top of the head. Okay, now we have to open the shoulder, lean back, and then make sure the ear is on top of the shoulder and tuck in the chin. So this point is actually, if you think of a center lines that goes from your nose to the back of your head, and then another line that goes to the ear is where they meet. But I prefer that you sit properly, which is lean back, open your shoulder, relax, and lean back your forehead and tuck in your chin. And that is perfect. Now, take 10 fingers. Don't do this, okay? This, like that, okay? Very gently, 50 times. Okay? All right, so now we're going to do some more, we're going to do some breathing exercise, mainly to clear the blockage on what we call the conception vessel or the gestation vessel and the governing vessel. And that would allow all the energy to flow freely. But we're going to also do some meditation. So we're now going from the body to the mind, to the body to the chi, the energy, to the mind. Okay? Relax. Completely relax. Sit up straight, open your shoulder. And just follow your hand. Let your hand rise in front of you. Follow your hand. And then bring your hands towards your body. And then lower your hand. As you lower your hand, just follow your hands. And then relax. One more time. Bring your hand. We're doing some exercise, breathing exercise. Bring it in. Set. Go down. And relax. Now we're going to breathe with our nostril. Very slow, very deep, and very steady. Breathe in. And then bring your hands towards your body, and then breathe out. And relax. So you notice that there's a gap between the breathing in and the breathing out, and then also between the breathing out and the breathing in. I'm not asking you to hold your breath. I'm just asking you to relax. And when you relax, you don't need to breathe. Okay? So don't hold your breath. Just relax. Now try this. Bring your hands up, breathe in. Relax. Bring your hands towards your body and then breathe out. Relax again. And then breathe in. Bring it towards your body and then breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Towards your body and then breathe out. Breathe in. Cross your hand, one in front of another. Pay attention to your hand, and then as you open, breathe out. When you reach the end, pause, and then breathe in again. And then bring towards your body, and then breathe out. Very mindful of your hand. Breathe in. Cross your hand, open, breathe out. And then breathe in. Bring it towards your body and then breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Open. Breathe out. Bring it towards your body. And breathe out. Now just relax. See if you could feel you're breathing. See if you could see if you know that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. We're going to try that. Just relax for one minute. Just 1 minute. Focus on your breath. Notice when you breathe in, your stomach expands. Know that when you breathe out, your stomach relaxes. So just try the best you can. Just know that you're breathing is enough. I know you're breathing, and you know you're breathing. The only question is that can you feel it? Just know that you're breathing is all I'm asking for. Know that you're breathing in. Know that you're breathing out. And if your mind drifts away, just tell to come back. Pay attention to your breath, one breath at a time. Now open your eyes. We're going to continue with the second exercise that we call the butterfly. Again, follow your hand. Just relax. This is called the butterfly. So as you embrace yourself, and then you open like you're flying away. Your hands, the back of the hands are touching. One more time. Embrace. And then open. Now we're going to start breathing. Breathe in with your nose. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Try to maintain so that you're sitting upright. Huh? Don't hunch forward. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now you're actually using your diaphragm whether you like it or not. Breathe in. Because as you embrace yourself, you're collapsing your lung and you're breathing in. So you're pushing down your diaphragm. And as you open up your lung, you're breathing. Breathe in. And then as you open, you breathe out. So you're lifting up your diaphragm. You're using your diaphragm now, okay? Without even knowing it. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Use your nose. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of meditation now. Now that we have obtained some muscle memory, okay? Now I want you to pay attention to how I sit. So if you're sitting like I do, make sure that your feet are relaxed and that your knees are touching the floor, okay? If they don't touch the floor, put some pillows, okay? So we're not using a muscle. We sit like the bell. So you imagine there's an energy field around you and your spine is like the clapper that has to be hanging from the ceiling. So the feet are like the pedestal. They have to be relaxed and also firmly on the ground. Now if you sit on the chair, just make sure that the bottom of your feet is touching the ground. And your hands, you can do anything with your hand, just relax. Just relax, okay? You can do some hand gestures if you like, but you don't have to. The most important part is your spine. Once again, the spine is like the clapper. It needs to be hanging from the ceiling. Okay, so what we do is we imagine someone is grabbing the hair on top of the head and we stretch the spine all the way up until you feel like you're hurting yourself, and then you just relax. So now all your discs are stacking on top of each other. But now you notice that in this position, I'm slightly leaning forward, okay? So we don't want that because I'm still using my muscle. So I'm going to lean back. Now, right now, I feel like I'm falling over. But if you look at me, I'm actually straight, my spine is actually pointing the sky. We call this the one pillar supporting the universe. So I want you to think of your spine as the center of the universe. And it is in fact the center of the universe because the universe is boundless. Now, I want you to open your shoulder and relax your shoulder. So these two energy points are now facing forward. I want you to relax your forehead. Bring your forehead back until your ear is on top of your shoulder and your neck is touching the collar. And now I want you to take your chin and tuck it in. So you're actually putting some pressure on the two arteries right around your collarbone. And now you have to relax your eyelid so you can see through, at least with one eye. I use one eye. You can see through your eyelashes. You can see your knee, your hand, the floor. Okay? Now I want you to feel your breathing. And if you cannot feel your breathing, you need to restart the engine. There are two ways to do that. The first way is to do 3 deep breaths. You do that by blowing air through your mouth, emptying your stomach. Feel how your stomach is collapsing as you do that. When you completely empty your stomach, relax, feel the air rushing in through your nostril, your stomach is expanding again. It expands because your diaphragm is pushing down, opening up your lung. Do that 3 times. If you still cannot feel your breathing, then the next step is to hold your breath. Just hold it. Hold it for as long as you can, and when you can no longer hold it, you relax, air rush in through your nostril. Now you do 3 deep breaths. Once you can feel your stomach, and you can feel that as you breathe in, air is coming into your nostril, stomach opens, and as you breathe out, stomach collapses, air is coming out through your nostril. Then you just stay focused on your breathing. Relax. Notice how when you breathe in, the air is very fresh, as if there's positive energy coming into your body. And when you breathe out, you notice that the air is more damp, as if you're exhaling negative energy. So, as you breathe in, start at the bottom of your spine. Take all that positive energy and slowly push it up to the top of your head, delivering to your brain. As you do that, take your body with you, so you straighten up your spine, you lean back, you open your shoulder, you lean back your forehead, and you tuck in your chin, you relax your eyelid, all of that, okay? And then as you breathe out, you take all of your negative energy, all your anxiety, your anger, all of that, and don't push it down, just let it go. It's very heavy anyway, so it will just slowly sink to the bottom, as if they go to your feet and dissipates. Okay? Breathe in, take positive energy to the top of your head, take your body with you. We call that calibrating the body, calibrating the posture. As you breathe out, take all the negative energy and let it sink. At the same time, relax. So this is the yin and the yang. As you go up, it's the yang. As you come down, it's the yin. The yang is actually what we will now, in modern days, call the fight or flight, where you're actually energizing your sympathetic nerve. But as you come down, you're activating the opposite of that, which is the parasympathetic nerve, relaxing. So you're doing many, many things right now. You're massaging your internal organs with the diaphragm, and you're also meditating. So I want you to commit to 3 cycles. Every time you go up, you say, I'm going to do 3 cycles. Go up and come down, go up again and come down. 3 times. And when you're done with 3 times, you can relax, take a break, or you can continue, commit 3 more. Okay? We're going to do this for 3 minutes. Make sure you relax on the way down. Just let it sink. Let it sink. The sinking is called the sentimentation. The Sanskrit word for that is jhana. After it's translated into Chinese and eventually to Japanese, it's called Zen. That's what Zen means, is let all your negative energy settle. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to do 3 more minutes before end of class. And the next part of the meditation is very similar to the first part, except that we're going to add a little bit more texture, a little more detail. So again, as you breathe in, I want you to start at the bottom of your spine and very slowly walk up your spine, touching as many parts of your spine as possible until you reach your neck, and continue so that you reach your back of your head, and then eventually at the top of your head. And as you breathe out, I want you to start at the forehead, comes down to your nose. And at this point, I want you, in addition to your spine, your shoulder, your forehead, and your chin, all the things that we talk about, I want to ask you to do one more thing, which is to take your tongue, and the tip of your tongue is now touching the roof of your mouth, right where the roof of your mouth meets the teeth, and just gently touch that part. So that as you come down, it goes down through your tongue to your chin, to your neck, to your chest, to your stomach, to your belly button, to the lower part of your stomach. And then now I want you to make a 180-degree turn back to the bottom of the spine again. Okay? So the reason we do that is as you exercise your diaphragm, as you massage your internal organs, you're actually generating a lot of electricity, because the intestines are very long, they have a lot of surface area. So as you massage them, since they are piezoelectric, they generate electrons. And now as you guide these electrons with your mind, you're actually generating electrical field, and then ultimately a magnetic field up and down your body. We call this the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. Okay, imagine that you have a pearl, and the pearl is rising up from the bottom of your spine, and all you're doing is following that pearl all the way up to the top of your head. And then when you reach the forehead, the pearl will come down on its own, and you just follow it. All right, so we do that for 3 minutes. Again, commit to 3 cycles at a time. 3 minutes, do that on your own. Maintain your posture, straighten up your spine, lean back a little bit, open your shoulder, lean back your forehead, tuck in your chin, keep the tongue at the roof of your mouth, and relax your eyelid. There's a lot to do. It's like driving, okay? You get used to it after a while, and you get really good at it. I know you can. Okay, open your eyes. So we cover a lot of territory in a little bit over an hour. It's 70 minutes, 10 minutes over an hour. Okay, so that's quite a bit. All right, so we're going to do the last part, which is essentially the same thing, but one would call the facial massage. Okay, so we do facial massage. All right, so relax, put your palms together, generate some heat, and massage your forehead. Massage the side of your face, not the front yet, just the side of the face. And it's a good thing to do when you meditate, because you need to wake up this body. And the top of your head. And the neck. And then the top of your ear. Okay, middle of your ear. And then your ear loop. Okay, now take your palm, put it behind your ear, stroke it gently 3 times. Okay, now we're going to work on the face. Take your index finger and put it a little outside of your nose. Okay, and there's an energy point here that would help with your sinus as well as your dry eye. Now take two fingers, start at the corner of your eye, goes down to the corner of your mouth, and then to your chin. Two fingers, okay? One way only. Now take your right thumb, put it under your left eye, starting at the corner to the tail, what we call the tail. Okay, now, but not at the eye bag. It's actually at the edge of your eye socket. Okay, so you're on the bone. Now take the other hand, do the same thing. Now take two fingers, start in the middle, and squeeze like you're squeezing toothpaste on the eyebrow, okay? Which is also the edge of your eye socket. Now take two fingers, and there's a point here that is the beginning of the yang line, the governing line. And don't push it too hard, okay? Don't push it hard, just massage. Okay, now we work on the 10 fingers, one at a time. Pull it, okay? And then the other hand. Okay, now we're going to do 5, what I like to call the lion's roar, which is to get all the bad chi out of your system. Okay, so you got to sit up straight, lean back your forehead, tuck in your chin, focus on your elbow 5 times, making sound. Okay, let me see here. Before the pandemic, like many of you, I enjoy travel a lot. So I would go visit all around the world. The one place that I really enjoy visiting is Japan. Japan is wonderful for many reasons. One of the reasons is that it's the place that still retain a lot of the Chinese culture. So they started to receive the Chinese culture around the Tang Dynasty, which is about 1500 years ago. So it's as if you're going back in history. And so when you visit Japan, you see a lot of Chinese culture that are really well reserved. The other thing that I enjoy seeing is all the fruits that they have, the melons, the strawberries. All of them are grown in the greenhouse, and they're sold as jewel. I mean, very expensive, very tasty. One of the crazy things that they have is watermelon, not just regular kind of watermelon, square watermelon. I mean, these are like watermelons, exactly the watermelon, except that they're square. And of course, they grown them in the box. But you have to imagine, it takes a lot of skill to grow watermelon in the box. You know, that they have to get sunshines and nutrients and all that. But that's what they are, you know, square watermelon. You have to find them. They're not everywhere. So I started thinking that what if all watermelons are grown that way? Then the watermelons would not know the difference, right? Because they look around and everyone is square. But you know that's unnatural. You know that's unnatural, that they're being constrained. And you know that when you constrain something, there's trauma. So there's got to be something wrong with this watermelon, but they wouldn't know. Now imagine us, you and I. We're all the same. We are taught that our only existence is a material existence. That we live in this very limited dimension, one dimension, and that's all we have. Imagine someone comes along and says, no, that's not true. You don't need to be a square watermelon. You can actually get out of this artificial constraint called a box and live to your potential. Which means that you don't have to be limited to just the physicality, that you can actually live in the energy domain, as well as what's called the mind domain. So it's the energy, it's the material, it's the energy, and the mind. The mind is not the brain, it's something else. This is not new. This is what the quantum physicists always been telling us, that there's energy, there's material, and there is the mind. There is what's called quantum information. Oh, but this is a very good comment. I will come back to that. This is an excellent comment. I will come back to that. When she said, especially since we are all one energy. This is an excellent comment. I'll come back to that. So, if you allow to live to your full potential, where you're not experiencing just the physical material body, but also the energy body and the mind body, that's going to be healthy, right? And that's what we're talking about, is that if you want to be healthy, then don't constrain yourself to this one dimension. Don't be like the square watermelon, because that's artificial. Live to your potential. Understand that you have the material body, you have the chi body, and then you have what's called the mind body. There is another reason to think like that. In the afternoon class, right here, I talk about how we limit our practice to a sitting position, because a lot of our fellow students, they have some limitations. One reason or another. But just because you have limitation on your body doesn't mean you have limitation on your chi. So we talk a lot about body positive, right? Because we want to break through that stereotype that we don't want people to think of us less than who we are just because there's something different about us. Well, guess what? The chi is the great equalizer. We all have the same chi. It doesn't matter. You can lose one limb and you still have a perfect chi body. That's amazing. I call this the chi positive, right? So how do you take that thinking beyond just the body and the chi? What is it about the mind? What is the constraint? What is the equivalent of the square watermelon for the mind? Well, we all know that we have trauma. We have mental trauma. We have pain. We have a lot of bottled up anxiety, anger, you name it, right? So how do we grow out of that? How do we take the physical healing and extend it to the mental healing? How do we heal that? I used to ask my class when we were still practicing outside, and I would ask them, how's the weather today? Where's the sun? Is there a sun out? And they would say, no, the sun is not out today. So I said, well, how was yesterday? And they would say, oh, the sun was out yesterday. The sun was there. It was a really nice day. And I said, guess what? The sun is always there, shining upon you. The difference is that one day you have black cloud. One day you don't have black cloud. And when you don't have black cloud, you feel the sun, you feel the positive energy. And when you have black cloud, then the positive energy is being hindered by the negative energy. So what is this negative energy? What is it? Well, in the Buddhist teaching, we summarize that into what we call the 5 hindrances. These are the things that are hindering us from really living out of a dimension, living beyond the artificial constraint that make us into a square watermelon. So the 5 are clinging or attachment. The second one is ill will or anger. The third one, you can there's different way to describe it. For me, it's easier to say that it's like depression. Somehow it's as if you're living inside the drum. You can't. You just cannot make connections. You don't have any energy. The fourth one is the opposite, which if I would say anxiety. It's like living on top of the drum, that you feel like you want to do something, but you have no direction. There's the difference between activity and action. It's like you have scalar quantity that you're just running around. The fourth one is doubt and lack of faith. So those are the five hindrances. Those are the black cloud that prevent us living in our full potential. I want to talk about clinging a little bit. So in the past, I talked about my father. My father has diabetes and also has dementia. His dementia is actually a direct result of his diabetes. So it's dementia, but not Alzheimer. So there's actually nothing wrong with his brain. It's just that the excess glucose got into the blood vessel in his brain. And he's perfectly functional. He's a very kind man, fully functional. But somehow he can't connect anymore. So he actually doesn't know who I am. He kind of knows who I am. He knows that I am that person that take care of him. But he doesn't connect. He knows that he has a son, or he has 3 sons that he brought over from Macau. But he doesn't necessarily think that I'm that person. But he's perfectly open with me. We have a great time. So one day, I forgot all the detail, but one day I keep pushing him. I said, don't you remember who I am? Don't you know that I am your son, that I am this person? And all of a sudden, his head just explode. His head just explode. And he walk or crawl, whatever. And I know many of you might or might not know what a Guan Yin. Some of you might have seen it. It's what we call the Bodhisattva of mercy. We all have it, all Chinese family. It's similar to like the Virgin Mary. And he just crawl in front of that, and he just say, help me, help me, help me. I know right there, I have made a big mistake. I want so much for him to remember me that I don't understand that our survival, he has to find his own way. So in his mind, I finally realized that he felt that he has been abandoned by his original family. And he has this new group of people around him to take care of him, but he doesn't connect. But he has to make it work. And he's perfectly accepted that because he needs to survive. I am the one who's clinging to the past. I am the one that want to force him to remember me. That's called clinging. That is our number one hindrances. So how do you heal? How do you heal that? How do you heal that black cloud that we all have? There's no good way. The only way you can is you just keep trying your best. And you keep shifting your emphasis away from that. Keep reminding yourself that I don't need to be that person. I can do better. And so once again, I want to introduce you to metta practice. The metta practice is as important as all the things that we have done. All the things that we have done has to do with the healing of the body. The metta practice has to do with healing of the mind. That we have to constantly remind ourselves that we need to be loving kindness, compassion, empathy, and finally equanimity, starting with loving kindness. always remind yourself of loving kindness. To do that, you need to build a bridge. You need to build a bridge. And the bridge is what we have called kusala, the wholesome path, the wholesome bridge. And I remember last time, if you were here, it's the hand. You start with appreciating your hand, appreciating my father, appreciating that he is still with me, that we can share time together. Just like we used to when I was 5 years old. I would, at night, Saturday night, I would walk out on my own to his shop, wait for him to get off from work, go out, see a movie. The only difference is when I was 5 years old, I didn't understand the movie because we were watching an American movie and that has subtitle and I didn't know how to read the subtitle. So after the movie, he had to explain the movie to me. I'm now doing the reverse, which is that when I see him, he would tell me things that he doesn't understand, what's going on in his day, and I would explain the movie to him. I'm very grateful to that. I'm grateful for my hand. I'm also very acceptance of my own shortcoming. I understand that things I can do better. That's okay. Every breath is a new beginning. I also want to share. So you go from being gratitude, acceptance, and sharing. I want to share what I have. All the things that I'm grateful for, I want to share with my family, with you, with everyone. The last thing is, I want to make positive changes in the world. I want to be positive. I want to make a difference in the world in a positive way. So that's the bridge. That's the bridge. Once you build that bridge, now you're ready to do metta, loving kindness. So I want you to put your hands together. This is the mudra, a hand gesture that stands for respect and gratitude. Be grateful with what you have. Accept who you are. Share with everyone alike and always be positive. I want you to think about your loved one like I am doing now. I want to wish all beings be free from animosity and negative energy. I want to wish all beings be free from mental suffering. I want to wish all beings be free from physical suffering. I want all beings be full of joy and protected with positive energy. As I chant, I want you to follow. I'm chanting in Pali, the original language of the historical Buddha. May you be blessed with love and kindness, compassion, empathy, and equanimity. And going back to the comment that let me look at that. That authors made that when your energy, you are one. That is very true. That is very true. It's the body that makes you individual, but the energy makes you one. Okay? All right. Thank you, all right. Okay? All right. Josh, anything you want to add?
Well, just wanted to thank Denny for sharing such a moving story. It brought me back to when my grandmother was going through dementia and Alzheimer's, and just like you said, it's a big lesson of attachment and letting go, because everyone around her, including me, just didn't want her to be like that. It just could not want, they were stuck in their ways, and we were this idea we had of her, just as much as she was repeating the same things over and forgetting things, right? So there were things that she would just repeat over and over again, but as it went on, it was hard. But as she gradually even let go of those negative things that just kept repeating in her mind, until where she came to more and more peace towards the end, which was kind of a silver lining to it all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Thank you, Josh. Okay, so we're going to call it a day. And I would go back and look at the questions and try to answer them next time, okay? Or actually, someone asked me if we have a circle. We don't have a circle. I haven't figured out how to use a circle, but we do have a group. So if you friend me, then I can invite you to the group, which is the older version of the circle. Okay, that's all we have.
And also, I guess they're blocking the URL stuff, so it's dennykmu.com, and you'll find all the links to all the resources and replays there. So I have to find out a different way to put the my hack for the links. And thanks everybody for coming and donating your time here and self-care for yourself, right?
Yeah, I enjoy spending my Saturday this way, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. All right, so see you guys next week, both 8 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Bye-bye.
Helena she said, okay, can you write it for you? Go ahead, write the address. Josh, write the address.
Oh, that's the thing though, they block it. I'll try it again, but...
Oh, okay, even the...
Yeah, the dot. Let me see, maybe I can spell dot with 2 T's.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, did it
Okay.
go?
Yeah. Okay?
Okay,
Just
cool.
dennykmu.com, and then you will find a bunch of URL there. Then you go from there. Or just do a search, okay? All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.